Flora Fun and Food. My name is Lauren, and today we are finally going to get our seeds started. I live in Missouri, and I'm in zone like 6A, 6B, and it is already March. So we are a little late to the game, but we still have about a month and a half until our projected last frost date. So I'm going to go ahead and get some things started. Seeds aren't going to grow if you don't plant them, so you might as well try. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you what I'm planting and how I do it. Let's go. Okay, let's start off with the herbs that I'm going to plant. So I'm going to go ahead and plant 3 different kinds of basil that I did last year and that did really well. I just have regular sweet basil. Then this is my favorite. This is Basil Emerald Tower, and I got this from Burpee. Lots of companies sell it though. These don't seem to bolt nearly as quickly, and they have like a very tall, bushy tower, and it just lasted the whole season. So I'm going to grow these every year. And then my aunt gave me this last year that I loved. This is basil that is called lettuce leaf basil, and it just has really giant leaves, and it was really, really tasty. So 3 types of basil. As always, I'm going to do cilantro. It is my absolute favorite herb, and it's my husband's least favorite. So this is all going to be for me. I typically direct sow this, but I'm going to go ahead and start just a few inside just to kind of get a head start. So we'll transplant those, and then we'll just kind of succession plant throughout the year, the season, I should say. Next up is rosemary. I had a giant rosemary plant last year that I just bought and planted. I'm not sure if it lasted through the winter, so we're going to plant some rosemary and get it started just in case mine doesn't come back. So we'll get that started. Sage was another one that I finally grew for the first time last year and really enjoyed using it. So we're going to plant some more sage. Parsley is my next one. This did extremely well last year, both in the shade and in the sun. Sorry, this one's really dirty. This is from last year, but I'm doing just Italian large leaf. This attracted swallowtail caterpillars, and so I really want to make sure I have those again. This was by far my favorite thing that I grew last year. This is called the toothache plant. It's also called buzz button. It's also called Szechuan bud, and they had a different variety this year. So I have to do both. These are so fun, and they were prolific growers once they finally started blooming. They did take quite a while to bloom, but these little flowers, you just pop them in your mouth, chew them up, and it feels like a bumblebee has kind of buzzed around inside your mouth. It kind of numbs it, and it makes flat water taste like sparkling water. It gives citrus kind of more zing. It's just really fun, and the sensation only lasts for a few minutes, but I had a really good time chewing these fresh and drying them, and they've lasted for forever. So we're going to do bullseye and yellow. And finally, a new one this year, horehound. I grew up, my grandparents always had horehound candy, and I loved it. So we're going to try this. It does say that it comes back every year, so I am going to make sure that I put it in a container. I feel like it's going to be kind of like mint that will spread if you let it go. So we're going to try this for the first time this year, and I'm excited to see how it comes out. So that's it for our herbs. Next up, these are just kind of some random ones. So my aunt gave me some loofah gourd seeds. Now this does say it takes 110 days to maturity. I might be starting these too late, but I'm going to try it anyway. So we're going to do some, it does say you can transplant or direct sow. We're going to go ahead and get these started and see if it does anything. If not, I'll try again next year. Then I've got my Oscar plant. This is that big plant that you guys saw last year that kind of gets those spiky looking seed balls that look like a little balloon. It is a prolific grower. It's really pretty in bouquets, and so I'm definitely growing this one again. Last year my chamomile didn't do anything. I think I got like 3 flowers by the time fall rolled around, and it struggled. So I'm going to give it another shot. We're just going to do the white German chamomile. I do have a golden one, but we're just going to try one and see if I can get it to do anything. It's supposed to come back every year because it self-seeds. I don't think mine got mature enough to do that, so I really would like to dry these and use them in different things. So we're going to give it another shot. And then, of course, marigolds. These are so pretty in the garden. They help kind of keep out nasty bugs because they don't like the scent of it. So I've got a few different varieties to try out this year. This is Orange Flame, and it's got that really pretty kind of dark red along with some spiky orange, and I just thought that was gorgeous. We've got Dwarf Bolero. It just looks like a little firework to me. Cracker Jack is super fun because they're really puffy and pretty. And then Safari Scarlet, again, that deep red color. I just cannot get enough of it. So we're gonna sow some of those and just kind of sprinkle them throughout the garden and just kind of, you know, tuck them in under plants and keep the bugs away. So that's for my miscellaneous pile. Next up, we've got our peppers. So this is Big Guy Hybrid from Burpee. We're gonna try that. I haven't done this one before, but I'm hoping it gets 5 inches long, 1 inch wide, right? So these are just giant jalapenos, and those are my go-to peppers for a lot of things. So I really hope these work. This is one of my favorite peppers, these large hot cherry peppers. They did not do well last year, but I have grown them in the past, and they're pretty easy. So it could have been weather, it could have been a myriad of things last year, but we're gonna give these another try this year. Another favorite, shishito peppers. I love putting these in anything, frying them up. They just have a really nice flavor. They're not too spicy. They're just really fresh and delicious, and you can let them go ripe and they'll turn red, and they're just a little bit sweeter, but I like them more when they're green. And these did crazy well last year. This one is seriously my favorite pepper right now because I grew cayenne last year, and that's what crushed red pepper is. And so I was just pulling these off weekly and dehydrating them and using a mortar and pestle. And I had my own homegrown red pepper flakes all year long. I ran out of them like mid-winter, and I was so sad. I did pick them green to save them, and the green ones crush up just the same, and they are very spicy. So definitely gonna go with some cayenne this year. Another favorite is Jamaican Scotch Bonnet. These are spicy, but they are so, so good. And I love making hot sauce out of these. And then I did these last year, these Sugar Rush peach peppers, but they did not mature before the frost came. So I really didn't get to enjoy them. So we're gonna see if I can get them this year. Again, it's early March. I may be too late on this, but I'm gonna give it a try anyway. So there's peppers. And finally, tomatoes. I have decided just to stick with these few things this year because that's really what I use the most. You know, I was planting zucchinis and radishes and all those things, and I just don't use them enough. So I am focusing on things that I want like a multitude of. Okay, so first up, these two were given to me by my Aunt Lou. These are different tomato varieties that she had good luck with. So we have Bush Cherry Patio Choice Yellow and Glacier Bush plant. So this one, especially since it says patio, that means it's good for containers, and that's what I have in my raised bed. So we're gonna try both of those. These always do really well for me. These are cherry tomatoes. They're called Super Sweet 100 Hybrid. They produced all summer long. They really are super sweet. And so I enjoyed picking these. From Burpee, I've got this Bodacious Hybrid. It's supposed to be fairly large. That's what I'm gonna focus on this year, is larger tomatoes. So these are my few small that I'm gonna grow just to have some tomatoes. But this one says it can be up to 12 ounces. We'll see. Another one from Burpee is the Atlas Hybrid. It should be another big one that says it can get up to about 1 pound. Then we've got the Burpee Steakhouse Hybrid. Again, this one is huge. This one can get up to 3 pounds. It's their biggest tomato ever, apparently. So fingers crossed this one works, as my mom really wants some slicing tomatoes, and so do I, and we did not really get any last year. Amish paste tomato. I want to make my own tomato paste, and this is good for making sauces. So we're going to try this one this year. I don't think it grew well last year. I can't remember, but I didn't get very many of these, if it did. Then I just thought these are just so pretty. I love these kind of bubbly looking heirloom tomatoes. So this is Mushroom Basket from Baker Creek. And then look at this. I tried to grow this last year. It died. I'm going to try again because this orange accordion just looks so cool. It looks massive. It's got those fun bubbles that I like. And so you can see I've already taped it up because I used it last year, but it didn't grow. So we're going to try again this year. So that's everything. We are going to start indoors. Let me show you what I'm going to plan on sowing directly. Okay, so from Burpee, they have these new things out this year that are direct sow peppers. And I'm very curious if that's gonna work because peppers have always had to be started indoors. You transplant them, you know, all that stuff. So there's a sweet pepper that I'm trying, a hot pepper, Lava Land Hybrid, the Ground Father Hybrid. This is another sweet one. I'm gonna put that with the sweet. And then we've got two different direct sow tomatoes. So we've got the groundswell hybrid and the raindrops hybrid. And you are supposedly just going to be able to put these out in the soil and they will grow. So we'll see. It's an experiment. As always, I'm going to do green onions, but those just seem to grow better when I don't transplant them. So I'm going to get those out here soon. Then I've got a ton of these Nigella seeds. I just think these are gorgeous, and I really want to focus on flowers this year. One of my favorite parts of growing flowers last year was just having fresh bouquets all the time. So there's some Nigella, some chives, some more, there's never enough chives. I love chives, and these are garlic chives that I don't have out there yet, so we're going to plant those. And then I have a ton of different poppy varieties. I've never grown poppies before, so this is going to be a total experiment. But looks like you just have to sprinkle them out. They do germinate better with light, so just a very light dusting of soil to cover them up. But I've got Black Swan, Brilliant, Amazing Gray, Hens and Chickens, Giant Rattle. I love the seed pods on this one. Purple Peony, and Lilac Pom Pom. And if you can't tell, purple is kind of my color. So I'm hoping that these grow and I can cut them and have cut flowers. Zinnias always do great for me. So I've got these giant double ones I'm going to plant out, but I left a ton out there that I just took the seeds off and just left them stay in the pot. So I think they're going to come back, but we'll plant some of these just in case. I also bought two new varieties of zinnia. These are just vibrant orange. I think orange is kind of my theme color this year with those marigolds, but I couldn't say no to these. So we're going to try some other colors of zinnia, but I'm fairly certain that they will come back because I had so many seeds out there. Same with my calendula. I left a ton of seeds to just fall and replant themselves, but I loved using these and stuff last year, so I want to make sure I grow even more. So I've got Pink Surprise and Porcupine Mix. We'll go with the flowers here. Then I've got Cosmos. I've never grown Cosmos, but my mom grew them last year, and they were so pretty, and they get so tall. So they are going to be just a perfect cut flower. So I've got Apricota and Apricot Lemonade. Next up, I have these kind of lacy flowers. So this one is actually called a lace flower. This one's called Green Mist. To me, this looks like Queen Anne's lace, but I'm not sure if it's the same family. But these are just going to be really dainty and delicate, and I am excited for those. Then we've got some borage. This is just one of the herbs that I know self-seeds because it's been growing in my mulch around my beds. But I do want to try and do some more stuff with it this year, so I'm going to throw a few more seeds down. And finally, I've got Indian snake cucumber from my aunt and Orlaya flowers. And again, just something new to try. I haven't tried these before, so I'm excited to do those. So there's one of my miscellaneous containers. I've got one more, and I keep these in picture containers in a big like holding case, and it's my favorite way to store seeds now. So this is my other box of miscellaneous that I need to sow outside. So all of these were direct sow, as are these. So we're gonna get these out as soon as we can. But this one's really cool. It's got like kind of paper looking leaves. It's called a money plant or a lunaria. So I'm gonna try those. Again, never tried them before, so something new. I've only grown these from an established plant, so I'm going to go ahead and try and grow my own sea holly. These are Orangium, and they're so pretty, and they dry really well. So I still have dried ones that I saved and, let just kind of hang there, and they keep their color. So they're really pretty for dried arrangements. Cypress vine is one that I just think is really pretty, and I'm going to have it kind of climb. I've tried sweet pea in the past, and I've not had good luck. So we're going to try it again this year because they smell amazing and they're just gorgeous. Some bachelor's buttons, just fun, pretty ones. I think these are pretty easygoing. I haven't tried these, so had to try them this year. Now, don't judge me. I'm going to plant dandelions in my garden because they're all edible. You can eat your dandelions, but the ones in your yard, you don't know if they've been sprayed unless if you have like a service that comes, they might spray. I want to grow pink ones just because they're pretty, so we're going to give it a go. I think they'll grow like weeds because they are weeds. Then I'm going to try some moonflowers that I got from my friend Chloe. Hers were so pretty, and she saved a ton of seeds and gave me some, and so I want to give these a go. They turn into these huge bushes with these kind of iridescent white flowers that kind of glow in the moonlight, and I loved hers, so I want to try these. My parents went to Alaska for a trip and brought me back some seeds. One of them is lupine, and I needed to start that a long time ago, so we're not gonna do those this year, but my mom got me forget-me-nots and fireweed, and these can be direct sown. I'm gonna try and do like little pollinator gardens, so these might go in with those just because they're kind of like native wildflowers, native to Alaska, not really Missouri, but we're gonna try it. And I just love the packaging, and these were meant to be postcards that you could send. She just brought them back to me, so excited to try those. And then I love milkweed, and so do butterflies, so I bought multiple varieties of milkweed. I have seen a dwindle in the amount of butterflies that are visiting my garden, so I want to make sure this is the only thing that they can eat. Some of them, like monarch butterflies, only eat milkweed, so I want to kind of try and hope to draw those in by planting these in my pollinator garden. So there's just different varieties, different pretty ones. I've got pink swamp, common pink, showy, white swamp, and butterfly orange. And then as always, I'm going to try and grow nasturtiums. Everybody says they're so easy. I really don't think they are easy. I think they are difficult. Mine never get more than just a couple of flowers, but I love the flavor of them. The flowers, the green, like the young juvenile seeds, and the leaves are all edible, and they have like a radish peppery taste to them, and I love them. They just don't do great for me, but I try them every year, so we're going to try it again. Maybe this year's our year. So I've got just the Fiesta blend with pretty colors, and then Alaska because it's variegated and they've got white on it. And then in my pollinator garden, I got the Prairie Splendor mix and the Precious Pollinators mix. This just has a ton of different like native flowers and pollinator happy flowers. So I'm just going to sprinkle these and just have a kind of a random eclectic blend of flowers in my raised bed in the back of the garden. I need to figure out a watering system because my hose doesn't go all the way back there, so that might be a husband job, but I'm excited to have these and hopefully draw in some more bees and butterflies and things like that. So, okay, I'm also going to grow these again. I love these yard-long beans. They self-seed throughout the summer, so I don't even succession plant them because I just let some of the older ones fall and they grow crazy. Sugar snap peas, another favorite. And then in kind of my shady area, I'm going to grow some lettuce type things. So I've got this Marvel of Four Seasons lettuce and this Merlot lettuce that I just thought would add some color to my salads. I also have some bok choy, which I'm going to put over there, along with, I don't even know how to say this. These are some greens. These are chijimise. I don't know. Please tell me how to say it. It was a freebie I got, so I'm going to try it. And then some watercress. So we'll stick these to the side. We'll get out there in the garden soon and plant these. But we need to get all of these planted up and started in seed trays. So let's go. Okay, I'm going to start with my peppers. So the first thing I like to do is get my seed trays. Now I love these. These are from Burpee, and they come with a tray and these silicone bottomed seed cells. And they are reusable. So I've used these every year for the last couple of years, and they are still going strong. So I need to get these labeled. So what I like to do is take some washi tape and just stick it right on the outside of the bottom tray. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then take a Sharpie and label it. So this whole row is going to be Sugar Rush Peach and Scotch Bonnet. So, got my labels like that, and I'm going to do that for all of these. I've got the 6 varieties, so I'm going to use 3 of these containers. So, next up is I need to fill these trays, and I just go with this Miracle-Gro seed starting mix. It's got the plant food that seedlings need. It's got, it's nice and airy, so it doesn't get too compacted. And it's never really done me wrong. So we're going to go ahead and get this dished out into our seed tray. Now this looks pretty dry. So we're going to go ahead and dump some in and kind of wet it down, and then we'll keep adding. We don't want it to be soaked because then the seedlings can kind of get moldy and drown and die. But we don't want it so dry that it creates air pockets. So I'm going to take my spray bottle here and just kind of wet everything down. And then I'll keep adding more dirt. And I like to do it on a tray so I don't make a huge mess in my kitchen. If it was nice outside, I'd do it outside, but typically when you are starting seeds indoors, it's because it's too cold outside. So we'll get that kind of mushed down. Don't compress it too much, but we don't want it, like I said, to have air pockets. And also take out any large pieces of sticks. Your seedling roots will not enjoy those. Again, go in with a spray. This will just kind of start to let it soak in some water, and then we'll give it a real watering when we're done. And the really nice thing about these trays is that you can bottom water. Once the seedlings start to grow, they get kind of fragile, right? So you can take this tray out, put your water in here, and I'm just gonna dump this dirt out, but you can put water in here, and then when you put your tray back in, it will soak up from the bottom, and then you don't disturb your fragile seedlings. All right, so this row is our Sugar Rush Peach, and I'm not gonna show you every single planting, but I do wanna give you kind of my process. So I typically like to take a chopstick and just make a little hole like that and plant them in, or you can add another layer of soil on top, which I'll probably do a little bit of because this is so dry. And then I only go in with 2 seedlings per cell because I'm gonna see which one grows better, and I'm gonna thin out the other one. And then this just makes sure that I have some viable seedlings because I'm only gonna plant a few out in the garden. It does kind of feel wasteful, but if you don't get a viable seedling, you're not gonna have anything to grow. Seeds are, I mean, not super cheap anymore, but they're cheaper than buying an entire plant, so you can afford to kind of experiment a little bit. So I'm gonna cover these back up lightly, and then we'll do our Scotch bonnet on this side. Cover them back up. And then we're gonna give them a good spray down just to kind of set that dirt in place. And then we'll go water them when everything is ready. And since these are young seedlings, we need to kind of keep the humidity up. So here's what I like to do. You can either cover this with cling wrap, or I have recently gotten into sourdough, and you need to cover sourdough. So I've bought these shower caps. So I'm just gonna use a shower cap, and this is gonna act like a humidity dome, and it's clear so you can see when they start to sprout, and then you can take this off. So we really only want humidity until they sprout, then we take it off because they need air or they're gonna get moldy and die. So that one's almost done. We do need to give it a good bottom watering, but this one's ready to go on the plant shelf. And one more thing, when I put this on the plant shelf, I do have heat mats, seedling heat mats, because peppers and tomatoes especially like heat to get started. Once they sprout though, I do turn the heat mats off because the roots can kind of get singed. But for germination, heat is good. My house is a little chilly, so the heat mat really helps these germinate quicker. Okay, so I'm gonna move on and plant the rest of all of my seeds. I do have, besides these kind of half trays, I also have these large cell full trays that I'll probably do. My tomatoes and peppers are usually in the bigger ones. And then I've got these smaller cell ones that I use for my herbs and things. And herbs and flowers usually go in the small ones. Bigger plants like tomatoes and peppers go in the larger ones. And I will link all of this down below so you can find exactly what I use, because they have not done me wrong yet. Okay, I got all of my trays put on my plant shelf. They are all on heat mats and they're under the grow light, so hopefully in the next few weeks I'll start seeing some seedlings pop up. Once I do see them, I'm going to remove the shower cap because it no longer needs that humidity dome, and then I'll just keep bottom watering them until it's time to go out in the garden. So in the comments, let me know what you guys are growing this year. I would love to, find out if there's more things I should be doing. Other than that, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and head over to my channel to subscribe for more content like this. And I hope to see you again very soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.